or rather speaking about the plans for the future. Watch this.
We need to build one team. So that respect is so critical, so critical. Let's not begin to dismember our unity even before we begin. And building coalitions, I can tell you, is the most difficult thing.
We are at a moment where we are not trying to prove that any generation is better than another. We do not want to compete between generations.
I've said several times before, we are betting on our differences. You will lose your bet for sure, because we are not going to disagree.
All right, so there is a lot of planning going on. There's also some planning going on for the by-elections that are coming. We've seen the ODA, the ruling party, or is it governing party, the situation in Beren North, shelving the ambitions of a few aspirants and settling on one candidate, so that to approach that election with one candidate. And also we've seen another group of young politicians in the country planning, coming together as Kenya Moja. Allow me to begin with the Mheshimiwa Hamisi on this one.
Yes.
Why are you laughing?
Yeah. They're happy to interact with one of them.
On those arrangements, because every politician thinks about the next election, and unless you guys are different, but at least the few I've interacted with, they have that in mind. So what brings you together as Kenya Moja?
Yeah, what brings us together is the agenda that has not worked for this country. And that's why when you ask what is your agenda, we say the agenda is that simple, to remove the agenda that has not worked. And this is the agenda that has not worked. For many years, Sam, I think you've been here long enough to know our politics and understand that something must be done. Yeah. Whether you want to hide or not, but it is true that our politics, something must be done. We may not be true political dinosaurs like our older leaders, but at least for the little time we've spent in leadership in politics, we understand something needs to be done. Like one, Sam, since I was a little child, maybe 3 years old, there are names in this country that have never changed. For example, when I was in class 3, Musalia Mudavadi was a minister for transport. Up to now, a member of parliament. The guy is still a minister. Sam, you are actually believing that things must change. Something needs to be done in this country. You've seen even the American history. I mean, since maybe around 2000 or at around the same time, when we got independence in 1964, yep. How many presidents has America had? So many. And you see, that's how new people come with new ideas. I've told my people, this is the last time I'm going to vie as a member of parliament. For 15 years, it will be enough for me. I'd rather go for presidents or something else. I cannot keep on one position as if there are no other leaders to take over. I mean, in a country of 45 million Kenyans, you need to have also time for other people to also take over leadership. So that if there is something that you've not done right, yeah. So maybe somebody somewhere has a solution to that. And that's why it pains the young people to see that since we were born, there are the same names that you see. One side, Musalia Mudavadi is with Uhuru Kenyatta. The next election, Uhuru Kenyatta is with Ruto. The next election, Ruto is with Raila. The next election, Raila is with Kalonzo. They are the same people thinking, when you are in one coalition, you think you are fighting for change against the other team. Now, they also merge again the next election. They exchange roles. And you think you are now fighting. Now, I'm telling people.
So how will you change that?
But you see that this is how the system has been. And this is how. Are you agreed with me first to start there? These are the same people. You see, you have no words to say because this is a reality. And you know, people don't want to face the reality. They want to hide that, you know, when you talk like this, you'll be making Baba mad. When you talk like this, we respect those people. What we are saying is that time has come for also a new generation. Because if we do not allow young people into leaders in position of high authority, we are going to have a generational gap where we have, it is only all the leaders who have experience in leadership. Yep. And there is a very big gap between the young generation and the old generation in terms of the experience you get as a leader. I've never served in cabinet. I need to serve in cabinet so that I know What does it mean to serve in cabinet? If a time comes that the people want Caleb to be a president, I love that experience. But if an old man will serve in cabinet for 40 years, where will I get the experience after he has gone? Because by natural attrition, he will go, whether you like it or not. So where will I get an experience to serve in a position somebody has occupied for 40 years? We are living a generational gap, and it is dangerous for a nation. We are hiding. That's why I said, can young people, including the two gentlemen who are beside me, these are young, relatively young people that needs to be part of Kenya Moja. They don't need to be bonded by this, the old status quo. They need to get out. But you know, when a father has molded
politicians you are describing as being there for too long, they were once your age. Mwai Kibaki served for a whole 50 years. He retired as president.
I do not want to serve for 50 years, Sam. That is something that we don't want. I said, even if the people of Saboti will want me to vie again, I'll tell them, no, thank you. Can somebody else also take over? That's how we are going to take a nation.
2027 will be your last.
I said this they have, in fact, they wanted to vie for governor. They have refused. I said, no, we don't want to let Caleb go. I said, but 15 years, please.
So I'm asking,
I'll say thank you.
2027 will be your last election?
Not my last election. I'll go for another position. As a member of parliament, that will be the last election. But for another position,
if you don't win?
I'll go for another position. If I don't win, I'll go and do my work. I'll just go farming. There are other capable leaders who can lead. You don't need to stay in leadership for long.
Okay.
Yes, let's build the culture of responsibility as a leader that have been given 10 years or 15 years as a leader in this position can now allow somebody else, another Kenya, to also take over. Probably he has a good idea on capitation. Maybe he has a better idea on share. Maybe he has a better idea on transportation and electoral system.
But you see, Senator Okech, one would expect that when it comes to political leadership, because you're all the same guys, because you come from the same political parties. In fact, both of you come from ODM. He comes from, what is your party again?
Kenya Union Party.
Which is just
KUP.
He's a friend of ODM.
But working with the UDA in Kenya Kwanza.
Yes, working with the UDA.
So let's just say you're from the same, perhaps, school of thought. But what do we do? Because, again, leadership is expected to be collegial. That the executive may be wrong, like in the topic you're talking about in school funding, but you're in parliament so that there's checks and balances. Yet the country still struggles with all these leaders in place.
The culture that you've seen and that Caleb talked about and my brother also talked about is that there is a lot of greed in leadership and in parliament, and then there's a lot of self-seeking individuals. And I think that while I do appreciate Kenya Moja, because Caleb, actually there are people who are known. I think there are about 4 people who are the face of Kenya Moja, who are pretty much my friends. You know, it's not that they need any right of reply, but Caleb is there. We have got Wamushomba, we have got Honorable Babu, we have got Honorable Senator Sifuna, who are leading this movement. And I've sat and reflected as a young person.
General.
The Secretary General of ODM, which is very good, actually, that angle that you brought. I've sat and also reflected about these issues because as a young person in this country also, I do align with the thought that we really need to create a space for transition, for succession politics, for leadership and all that. But I just doubt whether there is sincerity in the Kenya Moja.
Why?
I think I'm going to. It's not about doubting the individual. It's about doubting the purpose. Because I watched actually an interview the other day with 2 of that members of that movement. I follow your shows very, very closely. They are talking about something different from what Caleb is talking about. So that I start seeing different interests. Of course, it should be young people trying to fight for a voice and a place for themselves. Yep. But I'm seeing that they're just being dishonest, if I may say the word as I may say it strongly. The dishonesty here is this. I think that they have personal interests of surviving in politics. They're trying to create a space for themselves, but it's a personal interest for surviving in politics. And if I start with the 2 members who are...
Is it bad to survive in politics?
No, it's only wrong when you are trying to paint the face of the movement as people-driven purpose than your own individual purpose. Okay? And I have a problem with that. And I'll tell you the reason why, because even Caleb has just talked about it right here. Caleb has talked about creating a space for young people. The Constitution recognizes that apart from our ethnic diversity, which we're proud of, we are democratically organized within political parties. Caleb is a member of my political party. Honorable Babu Owino is a member of my political party. Sifuna is a member of my political party. What is wrong by building a stronger institution within the political party so that this change happens within the political party, ODM? Why must it happen outside the political party? I have a theory for it.
It's within.
No, it's outside. Actually, it's actually outside because they don't align with most of the ideological leaning of the political party. And I think this is my theory. I think for Caleb, which is okay, I appreciate it. He wants to be able to create a space for himself within the Western leadership, which is okay. But he cannot lie that it's about young people. Then number two, for Babu and Sifuna, this is my read, and I might be wrong in this. I think they're suffering what we call the Sakaja effect.
What is that?
The Sakaja effect is, Sakaja is the governor of Nairobi. Babu wants to vie for governor of Nairobi. And he has said it, I've not said it, he has said it a number of times. He doesn't believe that ODM will give him a ticket to run on in 2027. Therefore, this is his excuse for mischief to get out and find a way of vying without ODM. And I think that Sakaja effect is also affecting Sifuna. Because Sifuna, on this ethnic diversity, should, and I'm not saying that it will happen, I'm just saying should ODM choose to stay together with the UDA, in a formation in 2027, it will be difficult for one ticket to give members of the same community or similar community a ticket in governor and a ticket in Senate. That will be Sakaja and Sifuna.
And you believe
so Sifuna is also getting a mischief. I think so. I think that's what it's portraying. Because you see sometimes it's...
you think?
Yeah, I think so.
You think you'd be sacrificed?
Because we are in the same party, we know each other.
Senator Ketch, you think Sifuna will be sacrificed?
I think he thinks he will be sacrificed. I think he thinks he will be sacrificed.
You think he thinks?
I think he thinks he will be sacrificed, which is why he's getting an excuse for mischief like Babu. That's why I call it the Sakaja effect on these two individuals. I've told you about my brother Caleb's also struggle, which is a different one, but it's a collision of convenience. Let me just finish. It's a collision of convenience, and therefore somebody like Wamshomba becomes a good bait to adhere these three people who are struggling with personal survival in politics and understand it. But eventually, they will join A or B.
General, you're talking about.
But this is what is going on in the country. Everybody can see
but Sam, just as you pass, mine is just to comment because they say great minds discuss ideas, small minds discuss people. All this time he has been discussing people. No issue whatsoever.
No, I mean,
please allow him an opportunity to express himself. It's fine. You're safe here, Senator.
Let me say something.
Yes,
you said it rightly that every politician thinks about 2027, the next election. And looking at this Kenya Moja and the way he has ably discussed it, and I've listened to Kalonzo Musyoka talking, I've listened to Matiang'i. I think President Ruto becomes a master chess player here, because already there's a disarray in terms of who is supposed to compete with him in 2027. You could be having a hand in all this because you can see, I saw Munya saying nobody can own the mountain. I saw the former AG, the minister also, Muturi also saying no one person can own this thing. I have seen his governor saying he wants to run for president. I've seen there's a lot of this unity from the opposition, basically telling you that the master chess is starting to play his role well. And the only thing that I will actually advise every opposition leader is that you're facing a very tough person. Because 2 years to elections, there is no formation whatsoever. Now the young people are also pulling out already from the old guys. And the reason why you've actually seen one of them saying it is not about generations, because they have noted that there's another thing called Kenya Moja, which is pulling out, which again is also going to fail because Eddie has actually said it very well why they have formed this thing. For me, I'll say 2027 nearly becomes a defining moment where we actually see one person running against nobody. Ruto running against nobody. Lastly, Sam, there's something you asked, and I think I want to give my view. You said that the leaders have come in, like the young people want to come in, and they're going to overstay like the way Akina Mudavadi have overstayed. For me, I'll say, let us look into our constitution and say, everybody, now we've actually defined the role in terms of governors and president. Can we also define the role of any politician from MCA to say that 15 years after you've been elected, your usefulness is done? So that in the constitution we know, like Caleb has already given himself out, like after 15 years he's not supposed to be in. Even me, I think my usefulness is for a period of time. And governors and presidents are the same.
How many years would you propose?
For 15 years. Maximum 15 years. You are not supposed to be in politics. If we do that and put in our constitution, then we create opportunity. We create opportunities for the young people to bring in.
That the constitution because it talks about you must avoid discrimination.
No, we know constitution is there for us.
Yeah.
And it is us to change our constitution depending on the issues. We've seen...
So you want us to discriminate people who...
We are not discriminating. We are only trying to get better brains. Because if I go into politics because of my advantage, I discriminate the young people from coming in because I've got an advantage. Why can the constitution also give the young people the advantage of putting me out and putting any other person who have stayed in politics for more than 15 years out so that the young brains can come and help this country?
Let me ask you, in the house that you sit, because you have all ages, I suppose, how do the young politicians perform versus the more experienced, or should I say older politicians?
I think it's not about the young or the old politician. It's about the abilities of individuals.
Yeah.
You can actually find an old politician that is performing.
Yeah.
You can also find a young politician that does not perform.
How do first-timers versus veteran legislators perform?
We've got first-timers that perform. The only thing that I'll tell you in that house...
Performance.
Yes. The only thing I'll tell you in that house is we've got what you call the order. So that when I raise my hand and the second timer raises his hand, it's very easy for the second timer.
How great is that?
How great is that?
Yes.
Well, it gives you the opportunity to struggle to come into the field. And so you're supposed to exit from the field 15 years after. If I'm supposed to, I will say let us put that into the constitution so that the young brains can come, so that we don't have the Mudavadis of 1980s still be in power up to now. I also need people from my constituency.
What is wrong with Musalia Mudavadi?
No, I'm just using an example because Caleb started. It's an example. It's not wrong.
We love him.
Nothing is wrong. We love him.
Why don't you want
It's
it?
ours. He is ours. He is ours. But
the reason I'm asking that question, Mheshimiwa Lote, is because, 13th Parliament has suffered being accused of failing Kenyans.
Yes.
I don't know if you agree that it has failed.
no.
It is a parliament that you have a lot of younger
people,
a lot of millennials, people in their 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
No, it is I don't think it's the parliament itself. It's the events of this time. Because, the parliament of 1980s is different. The uprising of the young people, the global events that also affect...
Why did they uprise?
The economy.
That's a verb.
They came in because of the issues that are affecting them as young people. This, unlike 1990s or 2000s, we got 10 million unemployed youth now. That time probably it was 2 million. Yes, 10 million. And every year we've got 1 million coming into the job market. That basically means the strain to the economy. And that basically means the strain to the young people and the reason why they pushed. Even the next parliament, the next government, unless these issues are solved now, even the next governments are going to mess them.
The reason I'm asking this question is, you're saying that the uprising was because of the events of the time.
Yes.
But it's also the parliament that has not done its work.
Yep.
Like what?
You're now dining with the executive, don't you know that?
But parliament has been accused all through for dining with the executive.
Yes, but there was never a youth uprising in those...
Because that time, I have given you an example, I say that time we didn't have a much unemployment rate like now. Because every year we've got our population increasing by 5%. If you do that... You're
speaking as if you're talking about many years ago. Let's compare, which year is today? 2025. Let's compare 2020, 2024 minus 5 is 2019. 2019 and 2024. The circumstances are almost the same.
They're not the same. Every year, 2025, 2019 and 2025, we've got 3 million people additional to the 10 million that are already not employed. And these circumstances are created because of the previous governments who never created opportunities, job opportunities for the young people. So we invest in our education, but we don't invest own the receptors of education. So we do not have industries, we do not have where people are going to go into.
Done to correct that?
So this parliament, what this parliament has done is learn from the mistakes. Because 2024 is when we found that parliament was failing because of the finance bill. After which, parliament is starting to get its stature back. And you can see parliament is pushing things like, can you be able to verify the number of students in schools so that we do not waste our money? Is that not a positive thing? There are many more positive things that this parliament has done. So let us not vilify.
Schools don't have money now.
They don't have money now. They don't have money. Parliament pushed and say, can you verify so that we don't send money to ghost accounts? So it is the executive, that the ministry, that has failed to do the verification at the time that was required. So they're doing it when students are already in school. So it is not the failure of Parliament, it's the failure of the executive. But Parliament has done its bit.
Yet the president believes that it is also the House that is corrupt.
Well, and the reason why we said, for the first time, this is the first president to say that Parliament is corrupt, which is a positive thing to the Kenyans because somebody has pointed something that is seen. The only thing we've actually asked the president, and we'll continue asking him, is to ensure that those that are corrupt within Parliament are taken in. Because personally, I don't think I am. I don't think I am.
Fascinating. I mean, what I'm saying is, all what you're describing is the Parliament that has fairly young people.
Yeah, and is struggling with itself.
And you're saying there needs to be a change so that you don't have people overstaying in leadership.
It's true. It is true. We need that change. And I'll tell you, if we say that we need to recycle the old people so that you are in primary school until you finish school and you still find them, you are failing as a country. Because, let me tell you, God has given you the ability.
No, a monologue.
God has given you an ability.
I give it enough time.
No, God has given you an ability to perform at peak.
Yeah.
When you are past your peak, naturally, you're supposed to get out.
Perform at peak. And the peak is supposed to be what age?
Caleb can answer because he's actually exiting. He said he wants to exit in the next 15 years, in the next 5 years.
All right, Senator Okech, 20 seconds.
20 seconds. I think it is a responsibility, Sam, with a lot of humility, to remind my friend Caleb that I am one of the best brains that he will have an opportunity to sit down with in an interview. And I'm very balanced, but I think that it is important to think about integrating young people into leadership.
Yeah.
But that should not be an ageist conversation that then separates the country.
Okay.
I think there's an opportunity to focus on ideology that can make this country give opportunity to everybody.
Okay.
But that's a conversation for another day, as I wish them the courage to continue with what they're doing. But I'm sure that one day they'll just come back to either fall on one side of the coin, either A or B, the way Kenya is.
That's fine. Thank you so much. I just remind you that Mheshimiwa Hamisi, there's someone who was in Standard 3 when you joined Parliament.
Yes.
They will remind you about this.
Yes, and I love left.
In future.
Yeah, I love left.
Thank you so much, Titus Lote, Mheshimiwa Caleb Hamisi, and Mheshimiwa Senator Eddie Okech for making time for us. Up next is Sporty Monday. Bye for now. See you again some other time.